What's up, everybody? Back with another Honkai Star video. In this video, we're going to talk about Acheron. Now, Acheron only has less than 11, or just shortly less than 11 hours as of me posting this, because obviously I'm not going to be able to post this in 8 minutes of me hitting record on this video, but she has less than 11 hours, so it's pretty much do or die if you're going to summon for her or not. And I know a lot of people are on the fence because, oh, she's the best DPS in the game, she's super cool, she's efficient with farming mobs, all this stuff, and I'm here to give you my full thoughts. Now, I have used Acheron at E0 and I have her at E2. I really like the E2 because it helps with team building a bit more, but E2 is definitely not needed. You don't even need her light cone, which I do have her light cone. But regardless of that, Acheron is the best DPS, right? Some people would say it's not even close, but I do think it's not that far off. You don't need Acheron for anything. You can clear all sorts of content even without Acheron, and she's not going to be needed going forward. Plus, another thing with her is, one, her banner is just really good. Let me go back real quick. Gallagher, insanely good healer, very strong with dupes, right? You want to get E2, E4. Plus, he gives a debuff, so it helps Acheron get her ult faster. Pela is one of the best supports for Acheron. And then you have Donhang, just to be Donhang, right? He's just there, right? But two really good characters on her banner, making her banner have more value. Her banner is definitely better 4-star wise than Adventurion's is. And another thing is, people like her E. I will say, her E is very strong, but for the main thing people use it for, which is Simulated Universe, they are going to make it easier to farm eventually, so her E is not something you should be like, oh, I want to summon just for that. Don't worry, we'll be getting an update where it'll be easier to farm Simulated Universe. And other than that, like, I guess for overworld spawns, but that's not something you should be worrying about too much. Other than that, Acheron is just, she's just a DPS, right? Now, I'm going to use her in this stage really quickly, right, just to show, like, her movesets and stuff, but she's not needed by any means, right? You don't need Acheron to clear anything. You can use Jinglu just fine. I will say Acheron does have some of the best animations, though. As you can see right here, like, this attack is super beautiful. Her ult has a unique little, like, stop time thing, and you can attack multiple times like this. It's very, very cool. However, there will be definitely characters who have even cooler ults in the future, so I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should summon for Acheron just because of, like, she has, like, the best animations in the game. Don't worry about that, right? It's a crazy thing. Some people are going to be like, people are not summoning for animations. People summon for animations and just what the character looks like a lot, right? And the fact that Acheron has such beautiful animations will make people summon for her, but there's going to be better animations, right? I would not be surprised if the next hype character has even better animations than Acheron. Probably like someone like Sam, or, you know, in the future when we get like Sunday and stuff, they might have better animations. You know, Robin could even have better animations than her, right? But regardless of that, Acheron is still a very strong character. So if you are missing a DPS, I consider summoning, right? She is the best DPS in the game, very strong. However, if you already have your DPSs set, right? Like, let's say you have Blade, Jinglu, or you have Ratio, and, like, Zele, right? You only need 2 DPSs to really beat sorts of content. Whether it be MOC, Pure Fiction, obviously you're going to need different DPSs than others, and she is good in both. So if you are missing a good DPS for Pure Fiction, consider picking them up. However, another thing you need to consider, if you don't have a good sustain, you're definitely going to want a better sustain. Like, let's say you're rocking Natasha Lynx, maybe it'd be smarter to go for Ho-Ho or Luocha or Venturine, who's about to come out, right? I definitely say if you're missing a DPS and a sustain, 100% always go for the sustain first. They are harder to get a replacement for than a DPS, because DPSs, you could run QQ, 4-star, right? You could run Ratio, he was free. You could run even Yanqing even, and you still get the job done if you have a properly built team and support and, you know, decent relics. A sustain, hard to emulate. You will not get anywhere close to the amount of sustain Fu Xuan Venturing gives with someone like Lynx or Natasha, and that is something that no amount of relics will really be able to make up for. So I highly recommend to make sure you get your sustain first. And then, honestly, After that point, you can go for a DPS. Like, you can also go for a support, or even like a support, like a debuffer character. But I do think that sustain is definitely your number one priority. But it is not a bad idea to summon for Acheron. Let me back out of the stage. I was going to clear it because I'm actually farming up my Gwenaifen right now. It won't take any of my stamina, me retreating like this, so I'm not too stressed about it. See, it only did one run. Let me go back real quick. Yeah, no, it only did one run. But Acheron, very strong character, like I said. And I also said she doesn't need her light cone. Don't worry about it. Funny enough, they actually have her second bested slot right here, which is Good Night Sleep Well. It's the one with Payless sleeping on it. If you have that at S5, you're good to go, right? Don't worry, do not worry about it. A lot of people say that you need Acheron's light cone. It's like, oh well, I don't have enough Jades to get Acheron and her light cone. Don't worry, just get Acheron if you need it. But like I said, if you already have 2 DPSs, I wouldn't say her value goes down, but she's less needed on the account. But I will say Acheron does have one of the best banners. It's like I mentioned, the 2 4-stars. You could really just make a team around Acheron. This was a big thing with Sparkle's banner because you had QQ on it, and you'd run QQ and Sparkle together. So pretty much you're summoning on one banner to make your whole team. With this, you would have Acheron, Pela, and Gallagher. Then, because you have E0 Acheron, you want a second Nihility. You could run, like, Gwenaifen, who's been free multiple times. You could run Sampo, who's another 4-star. You could run Luca if you really wanted to. Welt is another option. Black Swan if you have her, right? Those are all very good options, but the easiest one to get was Gwenaifen because she's still available via an event. So the fact that you can make your whole team around just one banner is very, very valuable. So that's another thing to consider if you're a newer player. Obviously, if you are a veteran or you played for a while, you probably already have the characters ready for a team for Acheron. In that case, you know, you're good to go at that point. But like I said, she's not needed at all, but she's probably not going to come back for a while. I will say we are busting out reruns left and right, but eventually we're going to hit a point where we have to rerun a already rerun character. So more than likely that's going to be Zele, as she was the first rerun, as you know, being the first banner in the game. And when that happens, you might not see characters for a minute, right? We could probably see Acheron like faster than you'd think, but it's still going to be a while. In fact, people who wanted Luocha, well, Luocha was the 4th banner in the game. He was after Silverwolf, and he's only just now returning, and it's a year into the game. I'm not going to say Acheron's going to get like power crept in that time, or she's going to be completely useless, but if you want her, you are going to be waiting for a long time, so do consider that as well. But like I said, she's not needed, but she is a very good DPS if you do need a upgrade or a DPS in general. But other than that, good luck if you do summon. Best of luck if you are going to summon for Adventuring. He is out next. Adventuring and Jinglu are next. Jinglu is, you know, a very good DPS. I'd say 2nd or 3rd best DPS, depending on how you look at it. So she is another very good option if you decide to save for Adventuring. You pull him and you have some Jades left over and you still want a DPS and you don't have Jinglu. She's still a very good option and can function perfectly fine with a free light cone from the Herta store. So with all that to consider, let me know in the comments if you summoned or not, or you're going to summon still, or you're waiting to think it out. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe for more Honkai Star content, and I'll catch you on the next one.